What's up, everybody? It is a big day. Big changes have come to Halo Flashpoint in the balance data slate update, and we're going to dive into the 10 biggest changes in the update. Let's start with number one. So number one is probably the most anticipated update that I was looking for, at least. I think a lot of the community was looking for as well, but that is the changes to the frag keyword. So before, when you lobbed a grenade or shot someone with a grenade type weapon, it would automatically pin and automatically scatter your opponent no matter what. As long as you hit the cube, you pinned and scattered. Now that has changed. They did nerf frag a little bit by allowing you to beat the number of successes that frag has and not getting pinned or scattered. So this is a beat, not a meet. So if you both roll the same amount of successes on your defense dice and their attack dice for frag, you will still get scattered and pinned. You'll have to beat the amount of frag successes. Now I'm going to be a little bit hypocritical here because I have said on this channel that this would be a good solution for frag. If you make all your saves, then you're fine. You don't get scattered or pinned or anything. But now with the rise of new models only having 6-up saves on some of their save stats, it really doesn't benefit them as much. And usually those are the models that are getting pinned the most, like the CQBs and the Brutes, the Berserkers. You really want to pin those models, and if they're saving on 6-ups and frag is rolling 5 dice on 4-ups, the odds are just not in your favor if you're using those models. So as a recent Banished player and a former CQB player that I love, unfortunately it doesn't really help out those models, but it does help out some of the other models like Svezdas, who have 4-up saves, and elites that have 4-up saves. So elites having evade and not being able to utilize it if they are pinned, this helps them a lot save from getting pinned and scattered. The number two biggest change, in no particular order, is a change that comes to the quantum translocator. Now, the quantum translocator has been all over the meta for capture the flag and oddball and other game types where you have to grab an objective and run away with it. It would allow you to start the quantum translocator at the beginning of your activation, do your whole entire turn so you can sprint, use a grapple, a thruster, a movement die, and then at the end of your turn, snap back to the cube that you started in. And this was so overpowered in grabbing flags, where you can basically almost get a capture on the first turn with the scout move as well, which we'll see a change later in the video. And it was so overpowered that they had to nerf it. For one, I am pretty happy with this. I also was guilty of using the quantum translocator in some tournaments with great success. But I didn't like that every list had a quantum translocator. They did nerf it to where you can only snap back to the cube that you started in if you're 2 cubes away. So no more going like 5 cubes away and snapping back. You have to stay within that 2-cube bubble in order to snap back. So the most you could basically transport back is 2 cubes. But another drawback is if you snap back and you're in melee combat, you actually don't get the bonus dice. So this is a pretty heavy nerf on this item, and while I do think it still has some play in it, I think overall players are just not going to use it anymore. But speaking of Scout, this is our number 3 change. Scout would normally let you advance 1 cube before the start of the game and crouch and still be able to hold that crouch while you advance throughout the rest of the game. Those features are still staying, but it gets a little bit of a bonus. And they actually added a little upgrade to the keyword where if you only have 1 movement normally, you can take a free crouch action when you spawn onto the board with that 1 movement. This just means that your JFOs who can move 2 cubes don't benefit from this extra free crouch. Number 4, we are talking about command dice, specifically the +1 activation dice. So before, the +1 activation dice with the little Spartan helmet would allow you to activate 2 models in a row as long as it wasn't your first turn, or steal the first turn of the next round if you had it at the end of your round. Now the changes that they've added is you are actually able to steal the second turn of the next round if you would like. So not only just the first, but the second. This is really cool for game types like Total Control or Stronghold, where you really want that second turn so you can react to people getting on that stronghold and knock them off before they score a point. This is a very little change to it, but I think it's going to really change up the entire game, and I can't wait to use it in my own games. So number 5 brings us to active camo. Active camo has a pretty big change to it, and in my opinion, it's for the better. I really love it gameplay-wise. Let's dig into it. So before, when your opponent activated active camo, you could not draw a line of sight to that model at all, only the cube. Now, that still is there. You still can't draw a line of sight to the model, but if you are within the same cube or an adjacent cube, you can draw a line of sight. That's the exception. But you will have a -2 dice modifier to your shooting action. So if you're getting clear shot or a height advantage, you're, no matter what, even if it's just 3 dice, you're subtracting 2 from that shot entirely. This I do think is great because before you had to have full shields in order to take full advantage of the active camo. Now you can lose your shields and still benefit from the -2 shot. This means that if you activate active camo on your unit and you get grenaded and lose some shields, the active camo doesn't go away completely. You're still protected. This is going to be a pretty big item going forward. I feel like a lot of players are going to take it. I have a 5-man banished list that I'm creating right now with active camos on 2 of my Sangheili mercenaries, and I think it's going to be awesome. Paired with one of the cool new game types, illusion, where there is actually a path of invisibility of active camo. That game mode is going to be crazy, but just having active camo around the board is going to be a lot of fun, and it adds a lot of cool dynamic. Also, if you pick up active camo and you're out of shields, your opponents only get a -1 penalty when they're shooting at you, but that still helps. Before we start talking about the point changes and the miniatures, let's talk about number 6, which is the weapon token change. Basically, they have changed it now to where if you're going to a game, you are selecting 12 weapons, yes, 12, just 12 weapons to bring with you to this game. This is going to be your pool of weapons that you use in the game if you win the roll-off to see who goes first in the game. Whoever wins the roll-off to see who goes first in the game will choose which weapon token pile that they use throughout the game. This is very interesting. I don't know how I feel about it. I almost feel like you should just have your own separate weapon tokens that you can pick from, but I guess it adds a little bit more randomness to it, and it doesn't assure that the weapon tokens that you take can be used every single time, and you know, it's more just a variable. Though you can only take 2 of the same weapon tokens at most in each pile, so you can technically have 6 weapons in there, but just 2 of each of them. Like I said, very interesting change. I would love to see how this plays out in the future, but interesting that they didn't let you just take from your own pile, which I probably would have preferred. I had to save number 7 for the big green man himself, Master Chief. Master Chief has been changed pretty dramatically, not his rules, but his points. His points have gone up significantly in such that 1-man army has actually increased significantly. So Master Chief has actually only gone up 2 points to 90 points, but 1-man army has gone up to 10 points, meaning that you have to spend 100 points if you want to use Master Chief effectively. So that's half of your 200-point list, giving you only 100 points, maybe 50 points per Spartan to use, or ODSTs too, now that there's ODSTs. This is a pretty big change. Now, I know that there's been a ton of 2-man Master Chief lists. Maybe this is a way to combat that and to really balance Master Chief a little bit. I've used Master Chief myself. I really think he was super fun to play with, but other players have definitely found the best way to use him to control the battlefield. With only two models, it's nuts. Master Chief was pretty overpowered, so it's nice to see that bump on there, but I mean, isn't Master Chief supposed to be a little bit overpowered? Either way, the 2-man Master Chief list, I think we'll still see some play. But I think this balances out Master Chief and Aatrox a little bit because, honestly, Aatrox is a little underpowered in my opinion. He's deadly in close combat, but he's really a very slow support character, and he's kind of expensive himself, so it's not like you can bring a lot of other models with him to really take advantage of the Defiance special order that unpins them. But I digress. Hopefully this will balance them a little bit more points-wise. But speaking of Spartans, let's talk about the Svezda for our number 8 role. I teased it a little bit with Scout, but the Svezda has decreased in points significantly, all the way down to 36 points. Yes, the Commando Svezda is all the way down to 36 points, which is wild, paired with the upgrade to Scout, meaning that he can crouch upon spawn, makes him a very defensive character. Now the Svezda already had a 4-up save. The cheapest model has a Commando, so you get some decent firepower and some decent pinning. But now you can attach a bunch of upgrades to make him better. The biggest flaw is that the Svezda was very slow, so maybe this will change things a little bit. I know I'm going to want to run more Svezdas now, and they're very competitively priced to the Brawler and the Hazop. This makes selecting the cheaper unit to kind of fill out the rest of your points a little bit more difficult. So number 9 brings us to the Jiralhanae Captain and the points reduction that have been placed on it. Thank goodness, as a recent Banished player, I was looking at the captains and just really scratching my head why they were so overly priced. I know that the Brutes have increased health and knockback on their melee profile, but I still felt like they were overcosted. Now the Jiralhanae Captain is sitting at 55 points with the Hydra, and the Ravager one is sitting at 56 points. Though I am very thankful for this change, I still think they might be a little overcosted. So if we take a look at the Gungnir model now sitting at 46 points, and the Jiralhanae Captain sitting at 55 points, they both have Tactician 1, they both have 2 energy shields, they both have 2 armor, they both have a shoot stat of 4, the Gungnir has stable and guarded, so it can't be headshot, and it can shoot long weapons as short actions, plus a really versatile grenade launcher that can EMP opponents or frag them. Then you have the Jiralhanae Captain that has flight, which is very situational and not really used in the tournament scene at all. It does have 6 health as opposed to 4 health on the Gungnir, and it will have knockback, but with the guarded and the stable and everything else, I don't know, I just feel like they're almost a 10-point difference, and the Captain is the same, if not worse, than the Gungnir. Yeah, I don't know. It's very confusing why the Captains are still sitting at like around 55 points. Because overall, the grenade launcher is a better weapon, and then the Hydra, and the Captain is really only benefiting from knockback, a little bit increased fight skill, and extra health. I don't know, it doesn't add up to me, but either way, I'm excited to play more Captains on the table. And after that controversial take, we are going to talk about Sangheili coming at number 10. Overall, the Banished have seen a reduction in points, but the biggest have been in the Captains and the Sangheili with the Pulse Carbine. The Sangheili with the Pulse Carbine has come down 4 points to an even 40 points. Honestly, I'm a little surprised by this with how agile the Sangheili are. The Sword Elite did drop in points as well, but I was not expecting it in the Pulse Carbine Elite. 40 points makes this Elite a very, very attractive action monkey. Going in there, grabbing flags, arming bombs, sitting on objectives, just running around. And now that we've seen point increases in the grapple shot, it still makes a cheaper option than what would it have been, 47 points previously, and now only at 45 points with the grapple shot. I know I'm going to be experimenting with 2 of these running around the board with active camo and thrusters just to see how much chaos and how much actions that they can achieve with the game types. Now, this has come to the end of my list, but there have been so many changes that have come to this game. Make sure to go to the official Halo Flashpoint app to check them all out. They will be all in red text in the changes, or you can just go to the errata changes in the rules to see all of the changes all in one document. Other than that, like the video, please comment what your favorite change out of the whole errata change is, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.